this snake will look exactly the same as an adult. So when we talk about boas that look just as good when they're babies as when they're adults and they don't lose anything, here is one of them, a blizzard boa. What's up, snake fans? Dave Palumbo here for Muscle Serpents Daily. And today we're going to be going into the snake room. And actually, we might be outside the snake room too. So we're going to be looking at some enclosures, our outdoor enclosures that we've been decorating a little bit and getting ready for our olive pythons. Also thinking about what we might put in the other outdoor enclosure that we had here already. Now that the hurricane is over and we have a lot of branches on the ground that we can choose from, because I always wanted to put some cool branches in these enclosures. And if you go online and try to buy these things, firstly, you can't get really big ones, and secondly, they're really expensive. So sometimes a hurricane comes in handy. A lot of trees are down in my neighborhood. So I have pick of the litter, essentially. Everyone's got branches in front of their house, and I've been going looking for branches. So we'll see what we come up with. Pablo picked a few good ones out. I got a few good ones, and that's always fun. We're also going to be, today's theme of this video is going to be boas that look as good as adults as they do when they're born. As we know, some boas, some ball python, all snakes, some snakes when they get older, they just lose some of that luster. They don't look quite as nice. They look amazing as babies, and then they just kind of fade. Ring pythons come to mind. Ring pythons look like a Halloween decoration when they're born. They have those bright orange colors with the black stripings, and then they just fade as they get older. But, you know, some snakes do it, some don't. In boas, we're gonna look at babies that look as good as adults. All right, guys, I want to show you the baby blue tongue. We got this little ivory blue tongue
it's
skin.
only a kitten.
What color is this tongue, Ari?
Blue.
It's got pink in it, though. You know why it's got pink in it?
That is pink.
Yeah, it is pink, but it's got pink in it. You know why? Because it's got the hypomelanistic gene in it, and this gene will get rid of some of the blues and turn it pink.
I want to hold it.
You got to be very careful with this little.
Hold it. What's all it looks so
Let's
cute.
put him on the floor here.
Is it a boy or a girl?
We don't know yet. He's too young. You can't tell until they get older. See this guy? Be very gentle, guys.
Oh, it's about to shed.
You like him, love?
Yeah, I like it. He wants it. He's trying to cry.
Very gentle with these guys.
I know.
It's just a baby.
Dad, I like that baby.
You want to pet him, Shayla?
I will pet him.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I saw it. Oh. He's about to bite. Cute. About to bite me, I think.
He's really white looking too. These are called northerns in Australia.
It's gonna bite me when I touch it. He licked you? God, you know it licked my hand.
It licked you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Dad, can we name it?
Sure.
Okay, I'll name it.
We don't know if it's a boy or a girl, so you're gonna have to give it a name that could be either one.
I'll name it Thor.
Thor. What if it's a girl?
No. I'll still name it. I can name it. I can name it. And you have to pick Avengers. Okay. I'm gonna name it Catwoman. No, you can't pick any Batman. No, I say Catwoman. You have to pick like a cool name. No, it's a cat one. Ooh, I'm gonna name
what do you think you should name it?
Catwoman. Hulk Smash.
Oh, smash. If it's a boy, we can pick.
Catwoman.
It's about to bite me.
Yeah, I don't know. He's just
Daddy,
licking.
wanna do Catwoman?
No,
You're the Catwoman now.
How about when we got another one of these? Wait, you can name that one Catwoman. We have another one. Do we have another one? Oh no,
Can it stand?
You can name it Snow White.
no, we're definitely. We're not naming it Snow White.
Okay.
Can we name it?
How about Rapunzel?
No, we're not naming it any.
Rapunzel, let down your hair.
No.
We're trying to feed these mata turtles. Well, we lost one. It died because it wasn't eating. I have it in a huge tank of 1 million guppies, and these things don't want to hunt. We have to put them in these little bowls here. And Papa's got to point them in the direction of the fish. I think you got to turn them side to the right a little bit. See if he gets that little guppy there. He's already eaten about 5 of these things.
He's eating 7.
Oh, he's eating 7?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
but bigger than that one. Let's see.
I put them on that other corner. That other corner has a lot of them.
Yeah. He has one right underneath.
Well, he might be full.
Yeah, he might be full. He has one on top. Look, one on top of his head.
I know. They're like a vacuum cleaner. They just open their mouth and create a suction, and these things just go right in.
Yeah, you never see the mouth open. They're so quick. Here he comes.
We got to buy guppies by the 100 now, 100 at a time. What we should do is we should just put the nicest guppies in the tank, and then we just put him in this bucket with the rest of them and let him eat whatever he wants.
Yeah.
I can't imagine there being that much nourished with these little things. They're so lazy. They will not go and seek anything. They'll just basically stand there and wait for the guppy to go right by its mouth, and then they'll suck it in. That's the only way they'll eat. And I unfortunately learned the hard way. I lost one of my monomas. I might have to beg my friend Paul to sell me one of his now, because I don't want to have two of them.
He's moving now.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we go. Let's see. He's going for that one.
Mm-hmm.
That tip of that pointy nose must be some kind of like a scent organ or something like that. That's right there. That's right there. He's basically got his nose on this thing. He must not be hungry. If he's not sucking that thing in.
I think he will.
Oh, you got it.
Told
There you go. Nature at its best. Talk about Boa love. Look at these two guys. They're like embraced. I don't know if they're locked or not, but they're definitely loving on each other here. I thought this girl was gonna go last year. She's really big. She looks like she's got babies in her. She's so big. I just haven't seen it, and I'm not even feeding her that much. But she's huge. Look at that belly. Look at that lower half. I really thought she was gonna have some babies, but just I don't know. Maybe she just wasn't old enough, or maybe he wasn't doing the job. So I'm just leaving them together for this year. Hopefully they'll breed. This is these are sterling het bloods, so double het sterling bloods. I'm trying to really work on this. Really wanted to make this happen this past year. It didn't happen. Hopefully this year it'll happen. All right, I wanted to give you a little update on the enclosures that we are setting up here, the outdoor enclosures that we just put together for the olive pythons. We set them up. Pablo put some, we got a nice big water tub in there for them. We got some, one of the advantages of having a hurricane is that you have a lot of trees that went down. So we got a lot of cool branches. We set them up, and Pablo did this really nice so they can climb. Olive pythons like them. They're very arboreal. They do like to climb. We got our hot box up there. We got some branches. If they want to lay on the bottom, they can lay on the bottom. If they want to, right now the sun is out, so they can bask, which is really nice. Here's the other cage. This I thought was a really cool branch Pablo found with a bunch of forked branches off of it, but it's thick enough that it'll hold the olive python. And you know, we could always screw it in also if we have to. And nice little deep bed of coconut husk, and we're good to go. So we get these two enclosures done. This enclosure is next. We're working on we're gonna have to cut down some branches to fit in here, and we might, I don't know, might put some diamond pythons in here. Something's going in this enclosure. We're just trying to configure everything right now and figure out how we want to do it. So these are my blue-tongued skink little rabbit hutches. I'll put them out here and give them some sun during the day sometimes, just to give them some UV light. But looking good. All right, here's our other enclosure, our indoor enclosure that we found. Papa found a little branch. I'm looking for another one to kind of crisscross it. We got the lights on in here. We don't have the UV light on because it's really unnecessary. We have our radiant heat panel under here so they can animals can bask up there. The question is, what do we put in here? We're going to put some coconut husk, rep the chip on the bottom, and then I got to figure out what I want to put into this enclosure. This is Originally when I got this, I had some blue tree monitors that unfortunately didn't make it. So they're not going to go in here, but we might, I think I'm thinking about putting some snakes. This would really be really nice for the diamond pythons or even the bolins. It's kind of a big enclosure just for those. And this room is a little warm. So I think that I have the olives and the bolins in the other room, in room 1, which is cooler. So I'm not really so sure I want to put them in there. I wouldn't mind even putting a bower in here, to be honest with you. Just like maybe a super fire diamond in here, just for display purposes, you know, just because it looks cool, you know. Kind of like that museum-ish look to it, you know. People who walk by, they see these white boas in there that just look exquisite. So that's a possibility as well. So I'm thinking about it. Right now I'm trying to get some branches cut down to size. I think that one, we need like a little bit of a thicker one. That's a good second branch, but right now we don't have a saw, so that's a problem. I need an electric saw. I would be, you know, basically putting these things out and tricking them out. I think we're gonna get some live plants too. Maybe put a couple potted plants in here as well. All right, I fed my big girl, female olive python. She got a nice big jumbo rat. And this might be the last meal I give her before we kind of start wintering her and restricting food for the next 8 weeks. Hopefully kick her into breeding mode. My other female head albino up here, who's her male friend up there, has also got its last meal. So that's going to be the start of the breeding season for the olives. So she's kind of sitting on the hot spot digesting, big meal from the other day. And when she's done, probably she'll be ready to go outside and get wintered out there, hopefully get some nice cool temperatures, and hopefully we'll kick her into some good breeding behavior. Here's a beautiful VPIT positive. That's a visual VPIT positive. And it's also jungle and motley. Beautiful boy. And he's going to be going into the breeding rotation hopefully this year. He's a 2019, so he should be good to go. Got 3 years on him. Now he's not huge, which is good. Gave him a nice meal, and I think I'm going to put him in with the female probably by the end of the month and see if he's going to do some breeding for his first time. I'll show you his, well, not really his sister, but his girlfriend that originally I was going to pair him up with, but she's not ready to go yet, but he's definitely going this year. This is a VPIT positive hypo, 1 copy, Aztec. Aztec gives you those really nice square saddles. And the hypo gene, of course, disrupts those. VPIT positive obviously takes away the darks, but not all of them. Lightens it up quite a bit. Get that real nice eye. And you know, she's gonna take another probably 2 years maybe, because she's actually younger than the male. She's a 20, so she won't probably be breeding till like the 24 season. If she'll leave me ready for that, but we'll see. She's looking really nice. I got these two in a really nice trade I did, so I have them in quarantine still over here, and they're doing really well. I see a fresh shed, so I figured, well, why not let's film this little guy. This is a blood red, pied-sided corn snake. Looking really nice. You can see under the head there, the white. It's only pied on the side. That's what we call it, pied-sided. As they get older, they lose their pattern. They have pattern when they're born, and you can see all the white coming in here. And got some white creeping up the side there. So we're trying to get this guy up, or this girl I should say, up to breeding size at some point, probably next year. She's doing really well. All right, here's a beautiful boa. And you've seen this one before. It's a blizzard, which is a sharp albino. This is also a super hypo version of that. And it also contains the black-eyed anery gene, which removes yellows and reds. So it's really kind of an axanthic gene too. This snake will look exactly the same as an adult. So when we talk about boas that look just as good when they're babies as when they're adults and they don't lose anything, here is one of them, a blizzard boa. super hypo, sharp albino, Ralph Davis reptile, black-eyed anery. So this is actually a triple homozygous animal, and it will stay as white. It might even get whiter as it gets older. Sticking with the white theme, this is a different type of white boa. This is a super fire boa, or a super fire diamond boa. A snake that is a leucistic, black-eyed leucistic, meaning 2 copies of fire, you get a white snake. The lack of all pigment, although they do have pigment spots in them, which is kind of interesting why that happens, but this is a white, like a snow white, alpine white, whereas the blizzard I showed you is more of a pinkish white. This white will never dull, will never change. It'll look like this when it's a baby and when it was a baby, and now it's actually getting into sub-adulthood, and when it gets into adulthood, it will look exactly the same color. So if you're looking for a boa that's got exquisite color as a baby and as an adult, super fire is something you definitely want to look into. All right, just to prove it to you, here is the super fire female I have that is 8 years old. She looks as beautiful as the day I got her. She's looking very hungry and she smells mice, so I don't want to be mistaken for a mouse or a rat, but you can see that beautiful white color she's got. Exquisite. And she will never change. That's how she looked as a baby, that's how she'll look as an adult, and until the day she dies. Beautiful white. All right, interestingly, this is a scoria boa, and they're beautiful in their own right. They're an incomplete dominant morph. They just look completely different than all other boas, and they have the weird, this actually might be IMG. Pretty sure this is an IMG version, but this is pretty much what a scoria looks like, you know, and they're all variable. They all have different markings on them and stuff like that, but this is the coloration normally you see in a scoria, and you can just see how the snake looks. And you know what the truth is? This snake will never change either. They will look like this the rest of their life. Now, if this is IMG, which I believe it is, it could get a little darker, but by and far, let's pretend this wasn't an IMG. Just for argument's sake, because I don't have any baby scorias right now to show you, but this snake, I'm going to show you another scoria. They look the same. They don't change. They don't fade. They don't get worse. They if anything, they get better. All right, now here's a scoria. I shouldn't be standing on a ladder because I'm in a cast, but I'm standing on my good foot and balancing here, which is not smart. I'm going to show you really quickly. This female might be gravis or scales a little stretched out, but you can see the coloration is pretty much exactly the same as the one I just showed you as a baby. They do not lose that look. A scoria is probably the most recognizable boa of all time. Like, you can show anyone a scoria who knows anything about boas and they'll say scoria, you know. Whereas a lot of times people say, can you ID this boa? And I don't know what they got in it. I almost need to know what the genes are. But when you see scoria, it's unmistakable. All right, here's a beautiful hypo labyrinth boa. Beautiful, light colored, beautiful little stripe on it. Great patterning on this thing. You would think that as these things get older, they would lose some of that beautiful labyrinth patterning, or maybe they would lose some of the luster. And the truth is that, you know, sometimes in some different morphs you can see they will do that. They kind of, the pattern disappears almost. But I'm going to show you a bigger labyrinth, like I'm going to show you an adult. You're going to see that for some reason with the labyrinth, they really hold their pattern really well. And the contrast of the pattern to the background looks pretty much the same. Sometimes they even get better, to be honest with you. Let's take a look. Now here's a beautiful subadult hypolabby. Once again, maybe they get even better, like I said, but you can see the patterning, the labyrinth patterning, the saddles, they look just as vibrant as they did when they were younger. This snake has more red in it, you know, than the other one does in its body. But you can see that this snake is just as gorgeous when it's older as when it was first born, like I just showed you, because the labyrinth gene just does that. It does something to the pattern. It doesn't lose that labyrinth. Look at its tail right there. By the tail, you can see the labyrinth pattern there. It doesn't lose it when it gets older. They're just as beautiful. And that's probably one of the reasons why they're so expensive. You know, aside from the fact that the super form is a crystal, which is a blue-eyed leucistic, which I can show you as well, they don't lose their pattern either. But the single copy form does not. It stays just as amazing. And that's, once again, for the popularity of these snakes and this morph. All right, and here's my Russo Red Pastel Hypo Sterling. I just showed him to you the other day, this girl to you the other day. One of my nicest ones I ever produced. Looks the same as it did the day it was born. This is about a year and a half, about 2 years old. I'll show you a full-grown one. They're just the same. They don't lose. They don't get darker. They don't get lighter. You know, they all look a little different, and they have different degrees of red because of the, you know, the selective breeding. But they stay like this. They do not lose what they look like. If you buy it as a baby, it'll look the same as an adult. And that's what a lot of people want. They want they see the red, they want it to stay red. They see it patternless, they want it to be patternless. And that's exactly what this snake does. And here's my full-blown adult Russo Red Pastel Hypo Sterling. This is the mother of the one I just showed you. I think the one I showed you has a little bit more red in it, but this one is really red too. So, and she's gorgeous, looks exactly the same. No change into adulthood. If you like her the way she looked when she was a baby, she's exactly the same as she was. And that's one of the, once again, huge appeal. These guys stay patternless, they stay red. They don't brown out any more than they were when they were babies. And this is just the look you're gonna get. Tail is just as red as it was when it was born. This was actually the first visual that I produced. This might have been the first visual Russo Red Pastel Hypo Sterling period in the world, and then other people went on to do it, Vin Russo and all those people. I got lucky the first time out, but amazing snakes. And the last snake I want to show you today that doesn't change from being a baby to adulthood is, this is the Eclipse. This is a leopard, which is a recessive trait. When combined with the Motley gene, gives you this fully chocolate animal, patternless. This is also het albino too, which doesn't change anything, but it's patternless essentially. You get a little bit of a stripe sometimes on the dorsal end is a little darker than the sides, but this is what we call, like I said, an Eclipse, and beautiful chocolate look to it. It's got one of my, they're really some of my favorite combinations. I don't know. I love leopard, and I love leopard with Motley. I just love how it makes this deep, rich chocolate snake. And a lot of people do, and they have black eyes because they're leopards. So the question is, what do they look like when they get older? Let's take a look. There she is. This is a full-blown adult who will be put into the breeding program this year. She's just as chocolatey as she was when she was a little baby. She's a lot more chunky, that's for sure. She's big. And like I said, she's going to definitely breed this coming season, I hope. She certainly has the size, and she's a beauty. She just ate a big meal, so she's kind of like digesting right now, so we're not going to disturb her too much, but you can see she's got that. As a matter of fact, I think she's gotten darker and more, her color and has gotten richer as she's gotten older, but they're all a little different. You know, they all have slightly different patterns, but by and far, this is what you get as a baby and as an adult. All right, that's going to do it for another episode of Muscle Serpents Daily. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I got to show you some of my boas that I think look just as good as adults as they do when they're born. A lot of people buy animals as pets, and they want to have something cool. It not only looks cool when they first get it, but when it gets bigger, it looks just as cool. You know, that's what I love about Burms. Burms look the same from babies as when they get older, and so that's part of their appeal. But certain boas, when they're babies, look amazing and then sometimes fade. Some of the albinos will do that. Sometimes their pattern gets spread out and they start losing some of the definition. Other boas, however, will look exactly the same as they did when they were babies. The leucistics come into mind. Whether they be black-eyed leucistics like the superfires or the blue-eyed leucistics like the crystals. Anything that's like a patternless type of boa usually will hold its luster too, like the sterlings and the eclipses which are basically a combination of leopard and motley. So that's pretty much what you saw today. And that's, you know, if that's something that interests you. Now, if you're a breeder who just wants to produce cool stuff, I'm in that category. I don't necessarily care what the adults look like, if they fade a little bit, as long as they produce really exquisite babies. But, you know, I also like to have really cool display animals. I like to be able to pull a big snake out and show someone, hey, look how cool this thing looks. That's why I love the super fires, and I love the blizzards, and I love the crystals, because they're just really cool as adults as well. So that's what's so great about snake breeding. There's something for everyone. And so I'm trying to just give you guys the scoop on what happens, you know, from when babies get older, and which ones kind of hold it and which ones don't. And then you can pick and choose what you like best. All right, guys, if you like these videos you see, and make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications, hit that like button. I'll see you back Monday morning.